Hey everyone, Teresa here. Welcome back to Lost My Thread. Today is the first of a series of videos that I'm very excited to bring to you. This is something I'm going to be calling the Clash of the Patterns. The idea is that I'm going to take a single type of garment and I'm going to make it with 3 different sewing patterns, each from a different sewing pattern designer. I'm going to be comparing different elements of them on little one-on-one battles and see which pattern reigns supreme. So today I'm going to be looking at 3 different button-down shirt patterns in what I'm calling the Battle of the Busty Button-Ups. Now, when I first thought about this series, I did think the first thing I wanted to try and do were some button-down shirts, but not just any old button-down shirts. I am somebody who, because of my particular proportions, can find it a little bit tricky to find things that fit me in the bust area that also fit in the waist and the hip, and that seems particularly challenging with a button-down shirt. And this is talking about ready to wear, this is talking about sewing patterns. On the whole, I can either size up to fit my bust and everything kind of is a little oversized everywhere else, or I can fit the rest of my body and find that things are kind of gaping open and popping in the bust area. Now, I did wear a dress, button-down shirt dress, just as a little bit of a heads up that yes, I do make these kinds of things, but this is something that I had to do a full bust adjustment on. What I would like to do is find some patterns and compare them when you are actually able to choose a specific bust size or cup size. So there are quite a few independent sewing pattern companies that do this, and a lot of them I've never actually sewn from. So I thought it would be a good way to look into their sewing pattern companies, see what their patterns are like, but also maybe, just maybe, find a button-down shirt that I feel like really fits me well and that I like the style of. So today is all about meeting the champions, so who's going to be competing in this battle. And I'm going to first be telling you what the different sewing patterns are, who they're designed by, going into all the individual design elements of each of them, and showing you the fabrics that I've picked out for each of them. The first shirt I'm going to be telling you about is one by Pattern Scout. It's called the Busty Button-Up blouse. This is a pattern that I actually own because I'm planning to do a different version of this. They do a different pin-tucked version. You can do a dress or you can do a top version of that. But I want to show you the classic button-down shirt because that's what I'm doing for this challenge. The next one I'm going to be telling you about is the Mila shirt by Itch to Stitch. Itch to Stitch do have lots of sewing patterns, all with different cup sizes, and they're one that have been on my radar for a while. I've been intending to make something by them. I see lots of their makes crop up. They always look really cool. They have so many patterns, so many options, and if I do like this pattern, then I'm pretty excited to look into the rest of what they've got to offer as well. The last one that I'm going to be telling you about is the Harrison shirt by Kashmirette. Now, I really do love Kashmirette patterns. They have lots of really great designs. Unfortunately, I am slightly out of their size range. So Kashmirette, they say that they are designed for the curvy sewist or for curvier figures. In the sewing world, if you're not aware, and I only figured this out probably a couple of years ago, curvy in sewing terms is often used as just another term for someone who is a bit on the bigger side, has larger proportions, in a larger size range, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have a curvaceous shape. Just because you have a curvaceous shape doesn't mean that a curvy sewing pattern company is going to be really made for you. So I am a little bit smaller. I'm basically a size under the size range of Kashmirette patterns, but I really love this shirt in particular, and I will tell you all about why I love it so much. And I'm going to make it anyway, knowing that it might just be a little bit big in the sort of upper shoulder area. So I will bear that in mind when I'm making my judgments. As you will see, these are all very much classic button-down shirts. They've all got collar with a collar stand, they've all got cuffs, they've all got full button placket. So on the whole, they do have a lot in common apart from the things that I'm going to really specify are different. So the Busty Button-Up by Pattern Scout has classic side bust darts for shaping around in the bust area. It also has a gather at the back neckline. I'm not 100% sure if that might be pleats. We'll see when we get to actually making it. It has classic cuffs with a sleeve placket. It's got that really classic high-low shirt tail hem, so it's high at the side waist seam and then goes down at the front and the back. This one, you can obviously choose however many breast pockets you want to put on there, but their kind of original design is 2 breast pockets. They're a rectangular breast pocket, and there is no front or back yoke on this one. That's kind of the general design of that one. The Itch to Stitch Mila shirt is technically not a complete button-down shirt, so I'm a little bit borderline about whether I think I might extend that front placket. I'm probably going to leave it as it is just because I don't want to mess with these patterns too much, but we'll see. I'm a little bit unsure about that detail of it, so let me know if you've got any particular thoughts on it. But this one, it basically comes down just a little bit past your waist, that front button placket, so it's about halfway down or maybe 3/4 of the way down. This one, for the shaping around the bust, has some gathers under the front yoke. And I do have some dresses that I've made. It's the Sew Over Eve dress, has gathers like that, and that's where it gives you the shaping in the bust. And I really like the way that fits and looks on me. I like the little gathers there. I think it's a nice, pretty detail. So I'd be interested to see how that one compares to the others. This also has that classic high-low shirt tail hem, as you can see. It's got optional sleeve tabs. Now this is actually probably the thing I'm most excited about out of any of the patterns, and this is the only one that has it. So that basically means that you can roll the sleeves up and actually button them in place so that you can have them as high as you need them to be. They're not going to be constantly rolling down if you've rolled them up or pulling down if you kind of bunch them up. I work in healthcare. A lot of what I'm planning to do with these shirts is to wear them at work, and for work I need to be bare below the elbows, so I can't wear long sleeve shirts unless I'm able to put them up. I will roll shirts, and I'm not have a problem with kind of rolling them up, and they generally tend to stay up, but having that little button detail just makes it more secure to know that that one's going to stay in place. But I also think it's just a cute look, to be honest with you. This one also has front and back yoke, so it kind of goes all the way from the front to the back. And this one, it shows 1 breast pocket on there, but obviously you can do as many pockets as you want to. The Kashmirette shirt or the Harrison shirt, has princess seams for shaping. And what I really like about this one is it's got princess seams in both the front and the back. So it allows it to really kind of work around your curves in a 3D kind of fashion. It has a more subtle high-low shirt tail hem that does still have it, but it's not quite as obvious as it is in the others. It has a lower sleeve placket. This is really, I would say, more of like a classic tailored shirt placket. I think this is often called a tower placket. I feel like that one is a little bit more, just a little bit more crisp looking. I feel like this shirt on the whole has a little bit more of a tailored look to it, a bit less casual. This one has a back yoke, and this one doesn't have any pockets in the initial design, though obviously you could choose to add any of these kinds of things in. Now, I feel like the Cashmerette shirt overall is more shapely. I feel like the other two are more of a looser fit. That is the design of the fit. I like the idea of having something that's a little bit more shaped around my body. Now, bearing in mind that essentially it's the high bust measurement that I am slightly out of that size range. I'm a little bit smaller than the smallest size they have, but I still feel like I'll probably get a better shape overall out of this one, of the kind of style that I would prefer. But we're just gonna have to see how these things compare. Now, picking the fabrics for these, I wanted to have a similar fabric so that I'm comparing a little bit more fairly, like for like, rather than apples and oranges. So I've chosen 3 cotton poplin fabrics. They are all from Higgs & Higgs, just because I felt like if they're from one place, they're more likely to be a little bit more similar. They do have pretty different designs on them, and obviously that might somewhat affect the look of the shirt, but it certainly shouldn't affect the hang, the shape, and that kind of thing. So I will show you first of all the one that I have picked out for the Busty Button-Up blouse from Pattern Scout. So I'm going to be using this floral. I'll bring it a little bit closer. Whoop. It's a really pretty ditzy floral print. So you can see we've got these really nice primary colors, the yellow, the red, and the green, or red, yellow, and blue. There's also a little green, there's little tiny light bluebirds on there. I think this is gonna be a really pretty feminine, delicate looking fabric, which I think will go well with the relatively simple, straightforward birdie button-up blouse. So we'll see how that one goes. For the Mila shirt, that's the Itch to Stitch Mila shirt, I've got this really sweet, oh, that's upside down, isn't it? Let's bring it the right way around for you. This little heart, tiny little heart fabric. So this has, it's kind of like almost like a brick red kind of color. It's an orangey red color. I really do love this color, and it's actually not that different from the dress that I'm wearing today, to be fair. But I really like the little sweet little hearts that aren't necessarily in your face novelty print, but just a little subtle extra. If you're far away, it could almost look like a little black polka dots, but when you get close, you see that they're hearts. I think that'll be sweet and sort of a nice fun novelty without being overly cutesy. We'll see if that works out. And then for the Harrison shirt from Kashmirette, I've gone with a very plain but amazing colored blue cotton poplin. This is like a cobalt blue, really. So I just really think this is a gorgeous color. I did want to do one that was a bit more plain. Part of what I'm hoping with these patterns is that in addition to wearing them as like a button-down shirt, that I might be able to open those buttons up and wear them as also an overshirt, and I feel like that blue will work really well for that. That's partly why I'm thinking about extending the button placket on the Mila, just so that I have the option of wearing that as an overlayer. Probably won't do that. We'll see. Like I said, pop me a comment down below if you think that I should do that, if you think it would be better as a full button-down shirt, as a more like-for-like comparison. What I wanted to try and do, and the reason why I wanted shirts with adjustable bust sizes or different bust options, is I wanted to try and make things out of the packet as much as possible with the minimum extra changes for myself. Now, I do have some standard fit adjustments that I tend to make for myself, and some of those I probably will still do, but at least I won't have to mess with anything too much. And I feel like extending that button placket might just be a little bit too different, and then maybe I won't be able to blame the pattern, should be blaming myself if it doesn't all look too good in the sort of lower front section. We'll see how that goes. So this was all about meeting the contestants for this challenge. As they are different bust size shirt patterns, hopefully you will see why I have chosen this really ridiculous title of the Battle of the Busty Button-Ups. I hope it made somebody laugh, because it was making me laugh a lot when I was going through different titles for this. So I'm going to be doing little mini battles to compare some kind of like-for-like elements of these patterns. I'm going to be looking at the PDF, so how the PDFs come together, how easy they are to print, find your size, how easy they are to piece together. I'm also then going to be looking at the instructions, so what are they like, how easy are they to follow, what additional info do they have that you can find if you need more support. I'm going to be looking at the actual sewing techniques used, so what do I think works the easiest, works the best, gets the best outcome, comparing all those elements. I'm also going to look at the overall shape, so compared to what they say it's going to fit like, compared to their kind of initial body measurements and finished garment measurements, how that compares to your actual final fit. And then just looking at the overall style, really that's more of a what suits me, what do I like the look and shape of on my own body. So I hope you'll follow along on this little series. Like I said, I'm really excited to be doing this, and I'm planning to do this with other garments in the future. If you have any types of garments you would like to see this kind of battle throwdown thing for, let me know. Very happy to take suggestions, or if you've got specific pattern companies that you think it's worth checking out, again, tell me in the comments down below, and I can try and keep my eyes peeled for those for future little pattern challenges. So stay tuned to this channel if you want to see the remainder of the Clash of the Patterns, if you want to see which of these shirts reigns supreme, and do subscribe to this channel to make sure you don't miss out on any of the videos for this series, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!